Fareed Zakaria GPS, seen in Sunday morning 10 Eastern and Pacific.
Amr Moussa is a household name in Egypt, foreign minister for 10 years, head of the Arab League for another 10, much admired in the region for championing the Palestinian cause. He has spent decades on the global stage, but is leaving his Arab League post at the end of the month to concentrate on his home country. Amr Moussa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for visiting us.
Let me ask you about yourself. As you know, you're very popular in Egypt, but you are also in some quarters a controversial figure. There are people who say you are too associated with the former regime to really represent the future, that you are, after all, worked for Mubarak, that you were appointed to the Arab League proposed by Mubarak, and that you have had very comfortable relations with him till the end.
Well, yes, of course, I was the foreign minister of Egypt for 10 years, and the president was Hosni Mubarak. But the fact also remains that there were differences of views. You know that. We discussed that before several times. And therefore I was moved from the cabinet because of the differences of views on certain issues of policy. I believe that ministers or officials in general should be judged by their records, by their achievements, by their performance. Because I was not born on the 24th of January. I was ambassador of Egypt, and I was minister in the cabinet, and I was a diplomat. I was citizen after all.
But people say that you went to Tahrir Square and told the students there, the demonstrators there, go back, Mubarak is not going to resign.
No, this is 50% of the truth. 50% is that I really went to the Tahrir Square twice. But Tahrir Square with 1 million people, you cannot tell anybody anything with this huge demonstrations, and people are shouting and people are singing. But some campaigns start to say, Amr Moussa was saying this, nobody was able to say anything with 1 million demonstrators talking and singing and shouting, and so was not alone. And all of them said this is nonsense. This is some campaigns saying something, and I don't think the people, electorate, believe that. They know my positions on serious issues.
What is the state of Egypt's revolution?
As you know, they call the revolution and the revolution season in the Arab world as the Arab Spring. Our spring is full of sandstorms, and therefore we should expect difficulties, we should expect bumps. But we'll continue to move. I don't think the current problems would derail the revolution or derail our quest for and movement towards democracy.
Put on your hat as Secretary General of the Arab League. I suppose I don't have to say put on your hat, because that is the job you hold right now, still till the end of this month. People have criticized you for having initially supported the Libyan operation, the requested military intervention, and then after the first couple of days, when there was when it began, you seemed to back off, and people in the West said, there goes Amr Moussa flip-flopping.
Not exactly, I will tell you. We were really angered by the fact that civilian population was bombarded by planes, attacked by rockets. We couldn't take it. Therefore, the Arab League took the first decision ever in punishing a member state, applying sanctions, preventing that state from participating in the meetings of the Arab League on all levels and on all organizations.
Do you think it's possible that Gaddafi will agree to go peacefully?
Well, there are a lot of opinions on that, he is not that type of man. He will continue to make war until the last soldier, the last dollar, etc. Others will say that, no, there is a degree or a point where everybody gets exhausted and he wants to come to an end. So between these two, negotiations, if the ceasefire is imposed, and if both parties, Libyan parties, agree to sit and negotiate, and if Tripoli accepts that it will be for the negotiations for a certain period of time, and that a transitional period has to be established, that Libya will not go back to the status quo ante.
So you cannot accept a Libya that continues to have Gaddafi as its
I
leader?
don't think that it is possible, whether we accept it or not. I don't think it is acceptable. After all this bloodshed and all this confrontation, I don't think Libya can get back to the status quo ante as if nothing happened. That's the logic of things.
Can Syria go back to the status quo ante and the Assad family continue?
You know, I believe that Bashar Assad has a chance if he accelerates the pace towards a reform and meet what the demonstrators want to have, like freedom, like new elections, like that. Things are doable.
But right now he's killing them, far from meeting the aspirations.
Now creating that situation risks of, again, that you can't move back and you can't move forward. That is why the problem is that accelerate, do the reform quickly. You are racing against time. It is possible, but for a very short window of opportunity.
You said that there will be change in every Arab society.
Yes, in every Arab society, you will not find the same Egypt that you used to know, or the same any country.
Let me ask you about a subject you spent many, many years, if not decades on, Arab-Israeli issue. We can do this for a half hour, but so let me ask you something very simple. The Israeli position currently is that they cannot negotiate with a combined Palestinian delegation because one part of that delegation, Hamas, is dedicated to their destruction, refuses to recognize them. Is that a legitimate argument?
No. Because they stated before that they cannot negotiate with Abbas because he represents only part of the Palestinians. Now, after the conciliation, they cannot negotiate with them because part of them is, as they say, a terrorist organization. If they create a third position, you will find the same answer. No, we cannot negotiate with them until they do this and that. No, this is not serious. I believe that the Israeli government, Prime Minister Netanyahu, will have to take into consideration that the Arab world is changing. The order as they used to coexist with for the last several decades or several years will be no longer there. They have to seize this opportunity.
If you became president of Egypt, would you press for an adoption of the Arab League position, which is, broadly speaking, I would characterize as that the Arabs will recognize Israel and end the state of war if there is a Palestinian state roughly on the 67 borders with adjustments as the Palestinians would agree with?
My position today and tomorrow, and as president, if I am elected president, will be based on the Arab Initiative, of which Egypt is party. The Arab Initiative put the whole thing in a very clear equation, that we are ready to implement our part of the deal. We invite you to implement your part of the deal. And if this happens, then not only normalization, but full recognition. And not only by the 5 or 6 countries around Israel, but by all the Arab countries. This is an offer that the Israelis never took seriously or even considered. Now is the time for them to consider.
Amr Moussa, pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much, Farid.